Hariom and greetings from Niagara Falls. We have lots of new seekers who are joining us today. So Niagara Falls, Canada. My name is Vivek, and I will be starting the facilitation of this morning's workshop. In Niagara Falls, earlier today, we completed a retreat on understanding vices and vasanas. Vasanas are like deep aspects of your personality. And I shared with all of the seekers that one of the vices that we struggle with is being greedy. When one is being greedy, this is felt as short-term thinking. We eat in the short term, we buy in the short term, we relate in the short term. And so, a synonym with that which is being greedy or being short term is himsa. When we eat in the short term, that's not better for the environment. When we buy in the short term, that's not better for our finances. When we relate in the short term, that's not better for people. Quite often, we don't have the space, time, or energy to think in the long term. And this is why we have coordinated our community into a Prthvi Sevasanga, a community where the right space, time, and energy is invested for us to think in the long term. Last month, we facilitated a workshop on greening electricity. And one of the highlights in this workshop was to grow out of being a consumer and grow into being a prosumer. It is someone who, while consuming, is producing. Put more simply, such a person will always be living with a net gain. Anything they do, there will be more benefit. That is an awesome way to live. And this month, we are focusing on our Pioneers for the Planet Challenge. I was just sharing with my wife, Sheila, this is one of the best challenges I've ever been part of. And though I look young, I am quite old, so I've been part of a lot of challenges. This is one of the best. Whenever I come across the word pioneer, this gets translated into my mind as succession. A pioneer is not just one who creates, but one who keeps creating. Hence the word succession. Those involved in the Pioneer for the Planet's Challenge have engaged in self-development. As you get to listen to our teams, they'll talk about their goals. They'll talk about their disciplines. And as Pujaswami Chinmayananda shared, it is self-development that leads to societal development. Succession starts with one being strong. As our teams share in terms of societal development, all of the research they've engaged in, all of the solutions that they've come up with. Our Pioneers for the Planet Challenge commenced not 5.5 minutes ago, but 3 months ago with our teams, and with our Prthvi Sevasanga team, probably 3 months prior to that. We have 7 teams that are joining us, and more may be joining us, which is lovely. Our responsibility, in this case, I am a facilitator, but I think I'm supposed to be a judge. So I'm going to judge in the context of all of us learning, all of us encouraging, and all of us supporting. And our team will continue with the facilitation. Team, and best wishes to all of our challengers. Best wishes. I'm excited to learn from all of you.
Thank you, Vivekji, and namaste, everybody. Welcome again. Like Vivekji shared, we have been working with the pioneer teams for the last 3 months, and we have met them month over month and helped them, and they helped us kind of understand what they are working on. They talked about and told us about what are their disciplines and what goals that they have. And I can tell you that oftentimes when we hear about the climate, right, it's pretty dark news, right? It's about this is happening, something is not going well. But I think being part of this, I can tell you that I cannot be more excited, because definitely Mother Earth has seeded these pioneers with awesome ideas and awesome thoughts, and what inspiration they have. I'm so excited that all of us will be able to listen to their ideas today. And along with them, we also have their mentors who have been very instrumental in helping them come up with their ideas and think through these questions, and help them maintain their discipline. And those mentors are Meenakshi ji, Rajashekar, Somya Somnath, Aparna Reddy Mahakala, and Usha Chariar. We thank all of you for your help with the mentors, with the teams. Finally, we today have 4 advisors who is here to listen to your pitch, ask you relevant questions, and encourage you. And the first among the advisors you just heard from is Vivekji, the spiritual guide for Chinmaya Mission Niagara. The second is Shika. Shika Oberoi, she is famous for many reasons. She is one of the most rated player in women's tennis from India. But more importantly, she has hosted a reality TV show in India for social entrepreneurship. So that's very relevant to what we are talking about. We have Ramanathan, who is a co-founder of PIRE. PIRE is a rural grassroots holistic empowerment NGO based out of rural Tamil Nadu. Finally, we have Rita from our own team. So these 4 facilitators will be advising the mentors today. With that, I pass it on to Zui to start the actual challenge itself.
Hariom, everyone. Ready, set, go, sort of. So just a quick plan for everyone. We'll go have team by team, people going, and they'll offer their pitch in about 3 minutes. Advisors would have about 2 to 3 minutes time to ask questions, and their questions would be answered verbally by each team. And as audience, you're all encouraged to type in your questions in chat. I'm highly recommending you to share the strengths that you hear from the pioneers, to write them in chat, encourage them throughout the process. And we also have few interpreters who are helping us interact with our amazing Tamil proficient or other language related teams. So let's start with our first team. Many of our teams do not have strong internet access. The things that we typically take really granted for, that a solid laptop and a lot of internet connection. So some of our teams don't have that kind of obviously assumed privilege for us Americans. So they have created their video pitches, some of them. So thanks, Praveen.
Let me know if are you able to hear?
Yes.
Organic agriculture since 2019. There are 2 issues. The first one is the farmers doesn't get their proper value for their organic product. And the next one is the customers can't find genuine organic products in markets. The solution for this issue comes from 2 personalities. One is from Mahatma Gandhi, who says we don't need mass production, we only need production by masses. And G. Nammalwar, who says food should be locally grown and consumed locally. As a result, we a group of farmers join hands and running local market and selling our products directly to the customers from the year 2022 till date. This solution works because the value of the organically grown products are very high nowadays because of many health issues faced by the peoples which are uncured. The locally grown organic foods are very, very tasty as compared with chemically grown foods. The customers who buys these products directly from the farmers, they are purely satisfied, which makes an impact on their health and happy lifestyle. Through our solution, we are reducing the carbon footprints by selling our farm grown products locally. And also the main thing we learned is we can meet our customers directly and know their needs, and we are producing the food products according to their needs. Hi, I'm Monishant. Currently, our market is developed by our customers. Our customer come to our market, they buy the organically grown food, they feel some change in their lifestyle, and also they feel healthy in their lifestyle. So that's how it is promoting now. So we have an idea of running Google ads around 10 kilometers of the market, not beyond that, so that customers who don't know about us will come to know, and our market will grow. That is one idea. So we have a separate team for value addition of farm grown products. So by introducing some ready to eat products, we can grab other set of customers. That is the other idea we have. So for value addition, we need some machineries, small machineries like oil expeller, some de-husking machine, and coconut scrapping machine. Not only us, audience over here can also participate in our idea by visiting the local market and buying directly from the customers. That is one small contribution you can give to Mother Earth. Thank you.
So passing on to the advisors to ask a question.
Yeah, Vatara Sandai team. So I'll ask first in Tamil, then I'll translate it into English. Okay. Vatara Sandai team, நல்லா பண்ணியிருக்கீங்க. இட்ஸ் அ வெரி நைஸ் ஐடியா. நல்லா உங்களுக்கு வாழ்த்துக்கள் நீங்கள் பண்ணுறதுக்கு. யூஸ்வலாகவே வந்து ஆர்கானிக் ஃபுட்டு இல்லை ஆர்கானிக்கில் எது பண்ணாலும் அது விலை ஜாஸ்தியாக இருக்கும் நார்மலாக பண்ணுறத விட. இப்போ நீங்கள் சொல்கிறது வந்து நீங்கள் உங்கள் லோக்கல் மார்க்கெட்டு தான் நீங்கள் பார்க்க போகிறீங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்கிறீங்க. அண்ட் இப்போ சொன்னதை விட 10 கிலோமீட்டருக்குள்ளே தான் நாங்கள் கூகுள் ஆட் பண்ண போகிறோம் அப்படின்னு சொல்கிறீங்க. அந்த லோக்கல் மார்க்கெட், அதாவது இங்கே இப்போ பார்த்தீங்கன்னா நான் திருப்பூரில் இருக்கீங்க இல்லையா, அந்த லோக்கல் மார்க்கெட்டில் இந்த விலை ஜாஸ்தி கொடுத்து வாங்குறது அவங்க எப்படி பார்க்குறாங்க? இல்லை நீங்கள் விலையை குறைப்பீங்களா? குறைச்சா உங்களுக்கு ப்ராஃபிட் வருமா? அதோட ஐடியா உங்களுக்கு என்ன? நீங்கள் ஆன்சர் பண்ணுற முடியாது. ஜஸ்ட் ஆஸ்க் த கொஸ்டின் இன் இங்கிலீஷ்.
I can answer the question. I understood and I can answer the question. So what he asked is, how can you sell the organic products in low price, whereas in organic stores they are selling in high price? That is the question. I understand.
And especially in the markets you are looking at, right? The markets you are looking at are tier 2, tier 3 towns.
Yeah, here the first thing is the farmer directly selling to the customers. So there won't be any price fluctuation. So we analyze the market price, the current market price, and we will add value that is just 10 or 20 rupees to that, not more than that. So it is very well profitable by selling at the low price. So the reason for this is there are no intermediate peoples. The farmers selling directly to the customers.
ஸோ அந்த விலை நீங்கள் சொல்கிற விலைக்கு உங்களுக்கு இப்போதைக்கு பண்ணுறது ப்ராஃபிட்டபுளாக இருக்கா?
Yeah, it is very well profitable for us. Not very very well, so that we can be sustainable to doing this same process again and again. That is cultivation.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Monisat and Suresh Kumar. This access to affordable, nutritious food is an issue we see everywhere, and this is a wonderful effort. So thank you. Can you explain what makes the process of organic farming more expensive compared to non-organic farming?
So for example, in farming, the major problem is weed. So in chemical farming, they use weed killers. They just spray on it, and the weeds get destroyed. But in organic farming, we need to use some labors and we have to plug them out manually. So whereas we are giving some employment opportunity to the local labors, that is one benefit, and also we are not consuming the chemicals or whatever pesticides that are from the large companies. So yeah, do I answer this question?
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. All the best to you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vattara Sandai team, Ram and Rita. There are a couple of questions in the chat for you for us to answer later on. So take a look at it later on, and maybe after all the pitches are done, we could try answering some of those questions. So let's get going with the next team. We have Superheroes, one of the youngest team members. So take it on. Maybe as they are joining, their name seems pretty cool. Okay.
Hello, everyone. Please raise your hand if you are wearing clothes. And raise your hand if you've ever had to wash your clothes. If you answered yes to these questions, then this presentation is for you. Superheroes. We are the superheroes, a plastic fighting dream team. We are on a mission to combat climate change, one load of laundry at a time. You see, store-bought laundry detergents are expensive, packaged in tons of plastic, and loaded with additives. Homemade laundry detergent saves money, reduces plastic waste, and has no additives. We've been using it for the past 3 years, and it's been great for my sensitive skin. It takes just 30 minutes to make a batch using easy-to-find ingredients, and it lasts for months. It's easy to see why homemade laundry detergent is better than store-bought. We're aiming to reach 150 people with our message. We want at least 50 of them to switch to homemade laundry detergent. We're going to do demos where we teach people the benefits, teach them how to make it, and give out samples and kits. And we're going to do this with everyone we know. People from school, people from dance, and homeschooling. Apart from flyers and one-pagers, we're promoting our message with our website, www.thesuperheroes.com. This means our message will still get out even when our project is officially over. We've learned a lot so far. Technical things like making videos and websites, but also how to manage our time to meet deadlines, how to work as a team, but most importantly, to never give up. I was a bit nervous because we're the youngest team and I didn't know if I could be useful. But there's lots of little things I can do, and we're all learning skills that will help us make a difference when we're older. Most of our $650 budget comes from giving out kits to people so they can make a full batch of detergent. We've decided that even if we don't get money from you, we're going to do this project because we believe in it. We have some alternative ways to make this happen, even if we don't get the funds. Thank you for being with us today. We're not just fighting change, we're fighting climate change. We invite you to join us on our bubbly adventure. Please go to this website to learn how to make your own batch of your own homemade laundry detergent. That at www.thesuperheroes.com. I repeat, www.thesuperheroes.com. Thanks, everyone. Hiya.
I'm honored that I get to be an advisor with Shika for the Superheroes team. And I appreciate how young you are and how much excitement is coming from such a young personality and a young body. I have a tough question for you, though. Okay. So the way that you're making this laundry detergent, really anyone can do it. And that is your model, that your schoolmate can do it, your neighbor can do it. Now, what if another group comes along, another company comes along and takes this model that you've created and they do this in a poorer way, or they do this in a way that they will generate profit? So how do you address this becoming bigger? How do you manage the scalability? Now everyone's giving me dirty looks for asking you such a tough question, but I'm challenging you. This is a challenge, right? To think along these lines. So whatever you come up with, we will all listen to carefully.
I think that it doesn't matter if a company takes it and makes profit out of it, as long as people make a lifestyle change and it betters the environment. If it doesn't better the environment, then there's absolutely no point to this. But as long as it makes a change and people see how important it is and how much better it is for us, the environment, and wallets, that
Yes, your answer has come clear. Thank you for answering this difficult question. Shikaji? Shikaji, you're acting well, but we can't hear you well. And maybe you can't unmute yourself, so our team will make sure that that is changed.
Okay.
There we
You
go.
understood me. Thank you, Vivekji. Hariom. Thank you for unmuting me. Super stuff, girls. This is so exciting. I love the name. I love the branding. And I think you could do a lot more with it. You're beautiful. You're inspiring. You're carrying a very large story and a very large heritage on top of that into a very large mission. And what I would love to see is, yes, maybe quickly switching off of your paper marketing into digital marketing, a digital presence, maybe with the help of one of your parents to guide you through that scene. That would be very good. And also maybe start thinking about what you would do next after laundry detergent. First, yes, definitely start with your 150 folks that you mentioned, and then start seeing what you can do next to sustain this kind of proliferation that you're doing, because this will very much be about your voice and your message and inspiring people at some point soon. You can keep it up and do some big things with your lives. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and it's a pleasure to be here with everyone. Thank you, Vivekji. Hariom.
What's proliferation?
Proliferation. Spreading your news and your awareness. That's really what your product is, right? So what you're trying to do is get mass reach on how to make a very simple soap by yourself at home. And you can do that in a bigger way once you have a following and a larger audience, perhaps on social media, and it becomes a very powerful tool. So maybe you want to start that right away, side by side to your real paper marketing that you're doing, so you can start growing that quickly and put some funding towards that as well. Thank you.
Thank you, advisors, and thank you, superheroes. Meaningful comments for both teams so far, Vattara Sandai and superheroes. Take a look at them. We are moving on to our next team, Rainbow Flower. They have maximum number of Tamil proficient pioneers on that team. So Praveen, if you could share their video for us.
வணக்கம். விஜய், தாயகம் மரபு வேளாண் நிலம், தெத்துவாசல்பட்டி கிராமம், புதுக்கோட்டை மாவட்டம், தமிழ்நாடு. டீம் ரெயின்போ ஃபிளவர்ஸ். கடந்த 2019 இருந்து நம்ம தோட்டங்கள்ல நம்ம இயற்கை வழி வேளாண்மை செஞ்சுக்கிட்டு இருக்கிறோம். இதை நம்ம ஏன் செய்யறோம் அப்படின்னு பாத்தீங்கன்னா, நமக்கான உணவு நஞ்சு இல்லாம இருக்கா அப்படின்னு நம்ம இதை ஆய்வு செஞ்சோம். அப்போ நஞ்சில்லாத உணவை நாம தான் திருப்தியா உற்பத்தி செஞ்சுக்கணும் அப்படின்னு உள்ள இறங்கணும். அப்போ நிறைய கேள்விகள், விதைகள் இல்ல, உரங்கள் இல்ல, உழவு எப்படி செய்யுது, நிறைய கேள்விகள். இதை தொடர்ந்து நம்ம தமிழ்நாடு முழுக்க பயணம் செஞ்சோம், நிறைய நண்பர்களை தொடர்பு கொண்டோம். ஒவ்வொருத்தவங்கள்ட்டையும் இந்த சிக்கல் இருக்கு. இது மாதிரி நிறைய இளைஞர்கள் வட்டம் தமிழ்நாடு முழுக்க பயணம் செஞ்சுக்கிட்டு நிறைய நிகழ்வுகள் ஏற்படுத்திக்கிட்டு இருந்தாங்க. அப்போ அவங்க கூட எல்லாம் இணைஞ்சு நம்ம எதனா ஒரு வேலை செய்யலாம் அப்படின்னு நம்ம தொடர்ந்து பயணிக்கும் போது ஒரு 3 விஷயங்கள் நமக்கு விவசாயத்துல பெருசா பாதிக்கிற மாதிரி எண்ணங்கள் ஓடிக்கிட்டே இருந்தது. என்னென்ன அப்படின்னு பாத்தீங்கன்னா, விவசாயிகளோட பெரும் தற்சார்பை உடைக்கக்கூடியதா இருக்கக்கூடிய உழவு, தரமான விதை, உரம், இந்த 3மே அவங்க கையை விட்டு கொஞ்சம் கொஞ்சமா பன்னாட்டு நிறுவனங்களுக்கு போயிட்டு இருக்கிறத நம்ம கண் கூட பார்க்க முடிஞ்சது. இதுக்கான தீர்வு நம்ம என்ன பண்ண முடியும் அப்படின்னு நம்ம யோசிச்சோம். முக்கியமா பாத்தீங்கன்னா இதுக்கான தீர்வு என்னவா இருக்க முடியும் அப்படின்னு பாத்தீங்கன்னா, தரமான விதைகளை விவசாயிகள் அவங்க வட்டத்துக்கு தேவையானதை அவங்களே உற்பத்தி செய்யக்கூடியதா தான் இருக்கணும். இன்னைக்கான உழவர்களை சந்திச்சு கேட்கும்போது அவங்களுக்கான விதைகள் அவங்க கையிலே இல்லைங்கிறது நமக்கு தெரிய வந்தது. அது வளரல அப்படிங்கிறதுக்காக அதிகப்படியான ரசாயனங்கள் பயன்படுத்துறது மூலமா நிலத்துல இருக்கக்கூடிய நுண்ணூட்ட சத்துக்களை இழந்துகிட்டே இருக்கிறாங்க. இந்த வருடம் இருக்கக்கூடிய விளைச்சல் அடுத்த வருடம் இல்லைங்கிறது அவங்களோட நேரடி பதிவாகவே இருக்குது. அப்போ இதை நம்ம எப்படி சரி செய்யலாம், அடுத்த தலைமுறைக்கான நஞ்சில்லாத உணவை நம்ம எப்படி உற்பத்தி செய்யலாம் அப்படின்னு பாத்தீங்கன்னா, தரமான விதைகளை தேர்ந்தெடுத்து அவங்க கையில அதை பெருக்கத்துக்கான வாய்ப்புகளை ஏற்படுத்தி கொடுக்கறதா தான் இருக்கும் அப்படின்னு முடிவு செஞ்சு நண்பர்களோட இணைஞ்சு கடந்த 2-3 வருடங்களா பயணம் செஞ்சுக்கிட்டு இருக்கோம். அதை நாங்க வெற்றிகரமாவே செஞ்சுக்கிட்டோம். இப்ப கிட்டத்தட்ட ஒரு 400க்கும் மேற்பட்ட நண்பர்கள் நம்ம கிட்ட இருந்து விதைகளை வாங்கி பெருக்கம் செஞ்சு அவங்களுக்கான உணவுகளை உற்பத்தி செஞ்சுக்கிட்டும் இருக்கிறாங்க.
வணக்கம், காய் யுவராஜ், ரெயின்போ ஃப்ளவர் டீம். நம்ம தொடர்ச்சியா இயற்கை வழி வேளாண்மை செய்துகிட்டு இருக்கிறதுனால நம்ம விதைகளை, நாட்டு ரக விதைகளை சேகரிக்கிறதுக்கான ஒரு விதை வங்கிக்கான அமைப்பு வேண்டும் அப்படின்னு முடிவு பண்ணியிருக்கோம். அப்போ விதை வங்கிக்கான அமைப்பு அப்படிங்கும் போது அந்த விதைகளை சேகரிக்கிறதுக்கான கண்ணாடி குடுவைகள், அப்புறம் மண்பானைகள், அப்ப விதைகளை அடுக்கிறதுக்கான அந்த ரேக்குகள், அதுக்கப்புறம் நம்ம ஒவ்வொரு விதைகளையும் அதோட தன்மை முதற்கொண்டு நம்ம ஆவணப்படுத்த வேண்டிய சூழல் இருக்கு. அப்ப டாக்குமெண்டேஷனுக்கானது ஒரு பகுதியை நம்ம ஒதுக்குறோம் அப்படின்றதுனாலையும் அதுக்கப்புறம் நம்ம கோல்டு ஸ்டோரேஜ் முறையில விதைகளை சேகரிக்கணும்னு நினைக்கிறோம். ஏன் அப்படின்னா, அப்போ தாய் விதைகள் ஒரு பட்டத்துல நம்ம எடுத்ததா அடுத்த பட்டம் வரைக்கும் பாதுகாத்து பராமரிக்க வேண்டிய தேவை இருக்கு அப்படின்றதுனால அப்போ கோல்டு ஸ்டோரேஜ் முறையும் தேவைப்படுது. அப்போ இந்த தொகையெல்லாம் மொத்தமா நம்ம கணக்கு செய்யும் போது ஏறக்குறைய ஒரு 2,30,000 ரூபாய் வரைக்கும் நமக்கு தேவைப்படுது. அப்ப இந்த தொகை இருந்தது அப்படின்னா நம்ம இப்ப செய்துகிட்டு இருக்கக்கூடிய வேலையை இன்னும் வீரியமா அடுத்த கட்டத்துக்கு எடுத்துட்டு போகிறதுக்கு உதவியா இருக்கும் அப்படின்றதுனால தங்கள் உதவியை நாங்க நாடுறோம்.
மாற்றம் விதையிலிருந்து துவங்கட்டும். அடுத்த தலைமுறைக்கான நஞ்சில்லாத உணவை விதையிலிருந்து மட்டுமே துவங்க முடியும். நன்றி, வணக்கம்.
Rainbow, can you hear me? Yeah. Rainbow Flowers team.
கேக்குது.
வாழ்த்துக்கள், நல்லா பண்ணியிருக்கீங்க. இது ரொம்ப ரொம்ப தேவையான இது நம்ம நாட்டுக்கு, நம்ம வீட்டு எல்லாருக்குமே. என்னோட கேள்வி, முதல் கேள்வி என்ன இருக்குன்னா, இப்போ சீட் பேங்க் கவர்மெண்ட்லேயே கொஞ்சம் சப்போர்ட் பண்ணுறாங்க, அதே மாதிரி இன்னும் சில மிச்ச ஆர்கனைசேஷன்ஸ் நிறைய பண்ணுறாங்க. நீங்கள் இப்போ அவங்களோட காண்டாக்ட் பண்ணியிருக்கீங்களா? அவங்களோட கைகோர்த்து வேலை பார்க்கலான்னு பார்க்குறீங்களா? ஏன்னா இது நீங்கள் இப்போ பண்ணுறது உங்கள் லெவலில் நீங்கள் ஆரம்பிச்சிருக்கீங்க, இப்போ கொஞ்சம் பேருக்கு ரீச் பண்ணுறீங்க. நீங்கள் இப்போ இந்த நெட்வொர்க்கில் நீங்கள் போனீங்கன்னா இன்னும் நிறைய
வாய்ஸ்
ஒழுங்கா கேட்குதா?
கொஞ்சம் விட்டு விட்டு கேட்குதுங்க, பேசுங்க.
ஓகே, அதான் இப்போ நீங்கள் கவர்மெண்ட்டோடையோ இல்லை வேறு ஆர்கனைசேஷன்ஸோடையோ வேலை பார்க்கலான்னு உங்களுக்கு ஐடியா இருக்கா? என்ன, எப்படி நீங்கள் பண்ணுறதே இன்னும் பெருசாக்கலாம், ஸ்கேலபிலிட்டி எப்படி இருக்குன்னு பார்க்குறீங்க?
நிச்சயமாங்க ஐயா. நிச்சயமா நம்ம தரமா பண்றவங்க கூட இணைந்து செய்யறதுல எந்த ஒரு மாற்றமும் இல்லை. அந்த தரங்களை நம்ம உறுதி செஞ்சுட்டு அவங்களும் அதை தரமா செய்யறாங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லி நம்ம இணையலாம். அப்புறம் நம்ம கவர்மெண்ட்ல இணையறோமா அப்படின்னு சொல்லி கேட்டிருந்தீங்க. அங்க நம்ம விசாரிச்சிருக்கிறோம், நிறைய தகவல்களும் எடுத்திருக்கிறோம். அவங்க மதிப்பு கூட்ட, அதாவது ரசாயனம் மூட்டப்பட்ட உரங்களை கொஞ்சம் ஊக்குவிக்கிறாங்க. அது மட்டும் இல்லாம விதைகள், ஒட்டு ரக விதைகளை கொஞ்சம் ஊக்குவிக்கிறாங்க. நம்ம முழுமையா நாட்டு ரகங்களை தேடி முன்னோர்கள்ட்ட போய் அவங்க கிட்ட இருந்து விதைகளை எடுத்து நம்ம பரவல் செஞ்சுக்கிட்டு இருக்கிறோம். ஃபியூச்சர்ல இதே கான்செப்ட்ல நமக்கு அரசாங்கமும் செஞ்சாங்க அப்படின்னா இணைஞ்சுக்கிட்டு தாராளமா செய்யலாங்க ஐயா.
Okay. So just for the benefit of everyone, I'll just interpret in English. The question I asked was, it's a very good initiative to scale up, are they planning to work with the government and also many other organizations who are doing seed bank? Are they planning to work with them? The answer was they will look into other organizations, and if their ideas align, they will work with them. But with the government currently seems to be promoting primarily hybrid or chemically grown seeds. The alignment towards organic or native seeds is not very not there too much from the government.
Hariom Ramji, thank you for that translation. Can you kindly translate my question, please, and the response back from the team? My question to the team is, Dr. Vandana Shiva has been a pioneer in seed banking and this whole space. She has a protocol and a curriculum also available for this exact scenario as it touches everywhere in every part of the country and every part of the world. So has the team reached out to Navdanya Farms and for the seed banking kind of reference protocol curriculums that she is able to provide? Her and her team can be a great resource, potential access to funding and support as well, and guidance as they build the seed bank. Can they reach out to Navdanya Farms? Have they already? Is my question.
Sure, yeah. நான் சொன்ன மாதிரி இதில் நவதானியா ஃபார்ம்ஸ்னு ரொம்ப பாப்புலராக இருக்காங்க இந்த சீட் பேங்க் பண்ணுறதுல. அதில் டாக்டர் வந்தனா அப்படின்னு இருக்காங்க. அவங்க இது சீட் பேங்க் தயாரிக்கக்கூடிய வரைமுறைகள் எப்படி பண்ணலாங்கிறது ஏற்கனவே நிறைய பண்ணியிருக்காங்களாம். நீங்கள் அவங்களோட காண்டாக்ட் பண்ணியிருக்கீங்களா? உங்கள் இப்போ இல்லை வருங்காலத்தில் அவங்களோட காண்டாக்ட் பண்ணுவீங்களா? உங்கள் ஐடியா என்ன அதை பற்றி?
நிச்சயமாக ஐயா, வந்தனா சிவா அம்மாவை நல்லா தெரியும். கடந்த 3 மாதங்களுக்கு முன்னாடி சென்னையில ஒரு மீட்டிங்ல அம்மாவை சந்திச்சோம். இங்க தமிழ்நாட்டுல இருந்து இயற்கை வேளாண்மை செய்யறவங்க, சீட் சேவ் பண்றவங்க குழுவா போய் அம்மாவை சந்திச்சோம். சந்திச்சு தமிழ்நாட்டுல எந்த மாதிரி நாங்க வேலைகள் செய்யறோம் அப்படிங்கறத அவங்களுக்கு ஆவணம் காட்டணும். நியூஸ் பேப்பர்ல வந்து செய்திகள் எல்லாம் அவங்களுக்கு காமிச்சு, இது மாதிரி உங்ககிட்ட எங்களுக்கு ட்ரைனிங் தேவை அப்படின்னு சொல்லியிருந்தோம். அம்மா நீங்க இமெயில் பண்ணுங்க, கண்டிப்பா நம்ம இணைஞ்சு செயல்படுவோம், கிரேட் ஜாப் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு எங்களுக்கு வாழ்த்துக்களும் சொன்னாங்க. கண்டிப்பா நவதானியா கூட நம்ம ட்ரைனிங் எடுத்துக்கிட்டு இணைஞ்சு செயல்படுறதுல மகிழ்ச்சி.
They have contacted Dr. Vandana Shiva 3 months back in a conference meeting kind of a place, and they've shown their model of working and their articles that have come out in newspapers. She has acknowledged their work and she has asked them to contact them. They have emailed her and they will be very happy to work with their team and get training from them.
Okay, that's wonderful. So my follow-up question here is that it seems to me that there is a system in place, there is a location that has been defined as to where the seed bank will be, the costing to keep it cold, all of that. You all have been scientists identifying which seeds are the ones you want to put in the bank. Is the only missing step now funding? Is it money to actually actualize this? That's my question, please.
Yeah. ஸோ இந்த சீட் பேங்க் பண்ணுறதுக்கான அது எங்கே அதை ஸ்டோர் பண்ணுறது, அந்த வரைமுறைகள் எல்லாமே ஓரளவுக்கு உங்களுக்கு தெரிஞ்சிருக்கு. இப்போ இதுக்கு பண்ணக்கூடிய ஒரே தடங்கள் இல்லை தேவை உங்களுக்கு ஃபண்டிங், பணம், அதுதானா இல்லை வேற ஏதாச்சும் உங்களுக்கு தேவைகள் இருக்கா?
வாய்ஸ் இடையில விட்டு போச்சு, எனக்கு கரெக்டா கம்யூனிகேட் ஆகல.
அதான் இப்போ இந்த சீட் பேங்க் பண்றதுக்கு உங்களுக்கு அதுக்கு உண்டான தேவைகள் எல்லாமே இருக்கு. அதாவது எங்கே அதை ஸ்டோர் பண்றது, அந்த இடம், அதை பார்த்துட்டீங்களா? அதோட வரைமுறைகள் எல்லாமே தெரியுமா உங்களுக்கு? இப்போ அதை பண்றதுக்கு உண்டான ஒரே தடங்களோ இல்லை தேவையோ ஃபண்டிங், பணம் தானா இல்லை வேற ஏதாச்சும் இருக்கா?
ஆமாங்க, நம்ம கடந்த 3 வருடமாவே நம்ம கிட்ட இப்ப பாத்தீங்கன்னா ஒரு 400க்கும் மேற்பட்ட மரபு விதைகளை சேகரிச்சுக்கிட்டு தான் இருக்கிறோம். இப்ப நம்ம ஃபண்டிங்னால மட்டும்தான் அடுத்த கட்டம் நகர்வுக்கு நகர முடியாம இருக்கிறோம். அதான வரைமுறைகள் பயிற்சியில இருக்கிறோம், கத்துக்கிட்டு இருக்கிறோம், சேகரிச்சுக்கிட்டும் இருக்கோம்.
அந்த இடம் எங்க ஸ்டோர் பண்றது அந்த இதெல்லாம் பார்த்துட்டீங்களா?
தேர்வு பண்ணியிருக்கீங்க.
Yeah, so they have identified a location to store and they have collected seeds for almost 3 years now. So funding is one of their major requirements right now.
Fantastic. There's wonderful Indian crowdfunding sites that they can do in parallel to this challenge as well, like Milap and Keto. I highly encourage them to get started on that as well. They should be able to raise 2.3 lakhs within weeks also with that and sustain what they need. They can begin right away also along with the funding here that they're trying for. Thank you.
ஸோ நீங்கள் இந்த ஃபண்டிங்க்கு வந்து ஆன்லைனில் வந்து க்ரௌட் சோர்சிங் இருக்குது, க்ரௌட் ஃபண்டிங் இருக்குது. அதாவது கூட்டு முயற்சியில் இன்டர்நெட்டில் நீங்கள் நிறைய போய்ட்டு வாங்கலாம். கீட்டோ, மிலாப் அப்படின்லாம் வெப்சைட்ஸ் இருக்குது. அங்கே நீங்கள் உங்கள் ப்ராஜெக்டை போட்டிங்கன்னா அதுலேயும் உங்களுக்கு ஃபண்டிங் ரொம்ப ஈஸியாக கிடைக்கும் அப்படின்னு சொல்கிறாங்க.
So amazing ideas and suggestions. So we will definitely connect the teams for the crowdfunding part. We can host separate sessions for them and work with them and guide together. Thank you, Shikha and Ram, for guiding us along those ways. Let's move on to the next team. So high schoolers in US have taken on some innovative approach. Aquanauts, take it on.
Hello, my name is Shruti.
My name is Adya.
And my name is Karthik.
We're a group of 11th graders from Northview High School in Georgia. One big issue in our community comes from stormwater runoff, which leads to erosion of riverbanks and the destruction of aquatic habitats and properties in our local area. The sediments in streams can have devastating effects on biodiversity, such as clogging fish gills and preventing plant growth. However, we have just the right solution: river reef.
The river reef is implanted into the riverbed and contains clumps of flexible grass blade-like structures, each having a rough texture to absorb wave energy. Our idea utilizes biomimicry, which is the concept of incorporating traits from nature into new technologies and designs. We drew our inspiration from seagrass and rough cactus coral. Seagrass can trap sediment in the ground, decrease wave energy, and protect aquatic wildlife. The rough coral cactus can buffer the riverside against erosion by absorbing wave energy. In other words, by applying drag to fast currents, we are able to reduce the current speed and as a result, prevent riverside erosion, therefore maintaining a healthier aquatic ecosystem. The beauty of our solution is its ability to protect biodiversity without disrupting it via its flexible design and minimally invasive installation.
Our funding will go towards materials and marketing. We will use rPET, a bio-friendly flexible material, to create our leaves and a natural fiber-based rope to create the netting. The cost of our product will be dependent on the depth and the width of the stream or river that the customer wants to cover. In our netting system, each leaf will be 1 foot apart. For instance, in a stream that's around maybe 6 feet wide and 1 foot deep, we would install the leaves in rows of 7 in an area before the most eroded part of the riverside. Depending on the intensity of the currents, we recommend a different number of rows for each individual stream. In this case, let's suppose that the current requires 3 rows. This would amount to approximately $20. Another portion of our money will be allocated towards advertising to local community members, like purchasing ads in the local newspaper and promoting our solution online using platforms like Facebook. Once we start seeing an increase in interest and purchases, we can open up our business to platforms like Amazon and start selling them to a wider audience. In our pursuit of feedback, we engaged with our local council member, Dilip Dunki, and neighbors, addressing safety and feasibility concerns about our invention. Initially met with skepticism, we transformed criticism into opportunities for growth. We shifted to eco-friendly materials and made the product portable and size adjustable for different rivers. This not only enhanced our idea, but deepened our understanding of the environmental impact. We learned that there are a lot of factors that we need to consider when creating a solution, and that while working together sometimes may be frustrating, it's important that we listen to everybody's ideas so that we can make our solution the best it can be.
To bring our idea to life, we'll need several things, including further community feedback, guidance from experts in our community, as well as infrastructure and sufficient funding. Our team members are capable in designing and ideating, but to make this idea a reality, we need the support of you. Thank you for listening.
Hariom, Dhanyavad. This is great. I'm going to jump into it in the interest of time here. First question, super. I love the idea. I finally got a little glimpse of the image of what it's going to look like, what the product's going to look like. A, have you done a prototype? And B, have you been able to successfully collect metrics on that in reduction of the sediments as well as the wave speed? And then the C, if you can remember this, what does Councilman Dilip need to see to start implementing right away your idea from a government standpoint?
So in regards to A and B, like with the testing aspect of it, we were able to sort of do like a smaller scale version of it, just like in a bucket and kind of simulating the sediment. But to actually like create our product, we need the funding to like simulate the actual like texture on the plastic for the rPET like on the leaves, because this is like a completely new idea. So it's been hard for us to kind of find like that specific material and mold it without the funding. But we have done like smaller scale testing, and then one of you two can answer C.
Yeah, and as for C, to measure how this, for Mr. Tunki to help us get this plan into action, of course, he needs to see the prototype. And so what we want to do, we want to implement on a smaller scale first. So a lot of these streams we see in our own backyards. So a lot of private homeowners have problems with these eroding streams. And so we would want to try this out on a smaller scale with those homeowners. And then if that testing goes well with that, then we would be able to implement this into a larger scale, such as the bigger streams that are really affecting the rest of the people in the community as a whole.
Thank you.
This is really amazing thought process and a cool innovation as such. So we are looking at the time and thinking that let's just do one question per team for now. And advisors, you can ask them questions later on. We can pass on the questions and the answers. So Aquanaut's team, I keep thinking that innovation depends on our future and future depends on our innovation. So thank you for really showing that to us. Let's move on to the next team. That is sort of suggesting an age-old, Purana, but very fresh solution for some of our significant environmental challenges.
Hi, I'm Sakshi Shinde from Team Choice to Choice. I'm a filmmaker and graphic designer by profession. And today my topic is a menstrual hygiene product, which is tremendously beneficial for our health and our environment. Nowadays, with films like Padman and Period End of the Sentence, which has made headlines winning Oscars, people are spreading awareness about periods and pads. But in the process of safeguarding our health, are we damaging the health of our Mother Nature? On an average, a woman has around 450 period cycles in her lifetime. Now, to maintain a good menstrual health, we are expected to change our pads every 4 to 5 hours. But let's consider we change it only twice a day. It's still 12 pads per cycle, which generates almost 5,000 to 7,000 pad waste by one woman in her lifetime. And hold on, it doesn't end here. A pad or a tampon takes about 500 years to completely decompose into the environment. Now, the pads were commercially available since 1880s, which means the first sanitary napkin ever used still exists on Earth. You can imagine the load of environmental footprint we are generating by using pads. The periods are natural body function, right? It's not something that we can avoid for a lifetime. We can definitely avoid the waste that we're generating thanks to menstrual cup. It's a period product that collects blood instead of absorbing it. Just empty it once it's full and you can reuse it. And one good quality cup can be reused for up to 4 to 5 years if kept well. It's also a healthier choice as it's made up of a medically tested silicone material which doesn't have any harmful chemicals and fragrances like pads or tampons. But the taboo around periods has been there in our society since ages. This adds to the ignorance and illiteracy about the benefits and uses of this product. But I'm super proud to share that there is first modern village of India called Kumbarangi in Kerala, which has successfully went entirely sanitary napkin free in 2020 by fully switching to menstrual cup. By showing an example of Kumbarangi, our aim is to encourage people across cities and countries to switch to menstrual cup. Now, visual storytelling holds more attention than verbal or written communication. Hence, filmmaking stands as a powerful tool to connect with people. So we are planning to make a short film that can effectively spread awareness about menstrual cups, highlighting their benefits on health and its potential to minimize the environmental damage caused by disposable menstrual products. This film will also cover common queries about menstrual cup, like why they excel over other products and how to use them properly. It will also show how local entities and governments have made this transformation possible in Kumulangi village. With this success story, the film will serve as an inspiration or a guiding light for other regions to consider doing similar advancements. In short, it will be a quick film which introduces, educates, and promotes menstrual cup. It will also show how a small change in our daily lives can create a huge positive impact on our health and on our environment at large.
Good morning to you, Sakshi. Your passion for helping the environment and helping our Devis or our women is awesome. And that comes across very clearly. As someone who is married, and I'm aware of the proliferation of menstrual cups. So the idea itself is lovely, but in your case, it's not a new idea. So my question to you is, a video for someone in a village in Bharat or India who may not have access to Wi-Fi, or, and I know that's me thinking in a very old school way, but there may be someone who doesn't have access to Wi-Fi or doesn't know a particular language. So what value add are you adding in this chain? I of course am supporting the idea. Nobody is denying that. We all love the idea, but in terms of how is it that you're helping this cause through needing a video? And I know you're good at making videos. How will this help this cause?
Okay. So first of all, thank you for your question. And I've already started working on this project where I go to government schools, local schools in Maharashtra, where I go and educate them about menstrual products, especially menstrual cup. So initially, the schools generally are turning into a smart schools, and they do have access to like these government schools. They do have access to the facilities which can show this film, and in-person communication is also equally important. So I'm sort of finding a balance between both. This film is generally for someone like a student or a school to show it to their parents, because not all the time students can communicate the entire thing to their parents, right? So this film, the school plays a really important role to sort of connect it with the parents and the other groups in the village.
Good. And you've clearly answered that, and we're all appreciative of this. And we wish you the best for this and everything else you're going to do for the environment and for our women also. So Rita and I are your advisors, so we'll keep working with you. We'll keep asking you more questions. So this becomes perfect for you. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Sakshi, and thank you, advisors. So I hope many of you others are inspired to talk to females or other individuals in your lives about menstrual cup and promote it if you can. And so our next team is the Bio Inputs Prep team. The inspiring aspect about them that they joined a little bit later, but just made it work despite all different odds. So let's hear them.
வணக்கம், என்னுடைய பேர் வினித். என் தந்தை பெயர் சிவலிங்கம். விஎஸ்ஆர் கிராமத்தில் எங்களுடைய பண்ணை வந்து அமைந்துள்ளது. இது நல்லமல்லி தாலுகாவில் இருக்கு, தருமபுரி மாவட்டம், தமிழ்நாடு. நாங்க வந்து 2019ஆம் ஆண்டு கல்லூரி படிக்க முடித்துக்கிட்டு இயற்கை விவசாயத்துக்குள்ள காலடி எடுத்து வைத்தோம். அப்பா காலத்துல இருந்து செயற்கை விவசாயம் செஞ்சுட்டு வந்தாங்க. அதன் படியில ஏன் நம்மளுக்கு வந்து விளைச்சல் அதிகமா வரமாட்டேங்குது, வரவு செலவு வந்து கூட்டி கழிச்சு பார்க்கும்போது செலவு அதிகமாகிடுச்சு, வரவு வந்து குறைவாக இருந்துச்சு. அதுக்கு என்ன சொல்யூஷன் பண்ணலாம் அப்படின்ற போது தீர்வு வந்து நாம வந்து இயற்கை விவசாயத்துக்கு மாறலாம் அப்படின்ற ஒரு நம்மளோட வீடியோ வந்து பார்த்தோம். நம்மளோட வீடியோ பார்க்கும்போது அதுல என்ன கருத்து அவர் தெரிவிச்சாருன்னா, நம்மளுக்கு தேவையான இடுபொருள் நாமளே உற்பத்தி செய்து நாமளே விதை முதற்கொண்டு எல்லாமே நாமளே வச்சிருக்கணும் அப்படின்ற மாதிரி அவர் ஸ்பீச் கொடுத்தாரு. தற்சார்பா இருக்கணும்ன்ற மாதிரி சொன்னாரு. அந்த தற்சார்புன்றது எனக்கு ரொம்ப மிகவும் கவர்ந்தது. அந்த ஆண்டு வந்து ஒரே ஒரு 30 சென்ட் மட்டும் நெல் சாகுபடி பண்ணோம். அதுல வந்து இன்னொரு வயல்ல செயற்கையா ஒரு 30 சென்ட் ஹைபிரிட் நெல் சாகுபடி பண்ணோம். அதுக்கும் இதுக்கும் வித்தியாசத்தை வந்து ஒப்பிட்டு பார்த்தோம். இது இயற்கை பண்ணதோட செயற்கை வந்து அதிகமா செலவாச்சு. அதனால இயற்கை வந்து இடுபொருள் கம்மியாச்சு, சுற்றுச்சூழல் பாதிப்பு இல்லாம இருந்துச்சு, செலவும் கம்மியாச்சு, உற்பத்தி அதிகமாயிடுச்சு. இதன் மருத்துவ குணமும் அதிகமா இருந்ததுனால நாங்க வந்து இயற்கைக்கே மாறலாம் அப்படின்னு முடிவெடுத்து ஒவ்வொரு வயலா நாங்க மாற்ற தொடங்கணும். அது என்ன ஒரு பாதிப்பு தொடங்குச்சுன்னா, உயிர் உரம் வந்து உற்பத்தி பண்றது வந்து நாங்களே அதே வெளியில வாங்கிட்டு இருந்தோம். ஒவ்வொரு உயிர் உரம், ஏன்னா நாங்க கெமிக்கல் போட்டு போட்டு மண்ணு வந்து பாதிக்கப்பட்டதுனால வெளியில இருந்து நம்ம இடுபொருள் வந்து உயிர் உரங்களை கொடுக்க ஆரம்பித்தோம். அதன் பின்பு வெளியில வாங்குற செலவு வந்து அதிகமா இருந்துச்சு. ஏன்னா டிரான்ஸ்போர்ட் செலவு, நேரம் இதெல்லாம் கூட்டி கழிக்கும் போது அதிகமான செலவு இருந்ததுனால இதுக்கு என்ன தீர்வு மேற்கொள்ளலாம் அப்படின்னு யோசிக்கும் போது மற்ற குழுவிலுக்கிற விவசாயிகளோட நாங்க வந்து ஒரு கலந்தாய்வு பண்ணோம். அவங்க வந்து ஒரு யோசனை சொன்னாங்க, நாமளே உற்பத்தி பண்ணிக்கலாம் அப்படின்ட்டு.
வணக்கம், என் பேர் ஆனந்தி. நான் பிஎஸ்சி அக்ரி ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இயர் படிக்கிறேன். எங்க தோட்டத்துல இருக்கிற பயிருக்கு தேவையான மண்புழு உரம், இயற்கை இடுபொருள் எல்லாம் நாங்க இங்கேயே செஞ்சு பயிருக்கு வந்து பயன்படுத்திட்டு வரோம். அதுக்கப்புறம் பாத்தீங்கன்னா எங்க பண்ணையிலே ஒரு எம்டி ரூம் இருக்கு. அந்த ரூம்ல வந்து உயிர் உரம் தயாரிக்கலாம் குழுவா சேர்ந்து, அது நான் வந்து மெயின்டைன் பண்ணலாம் அப்படின்ட்டு ஆலோசனை இருக்கு.
என் பேர் சந்தோஷ். நான் டிப்ளமோ இன் ஹார்டிகல்ச்சர் முடிச்சுட்டு இப்போ வந்து வீட்டில் இருக்கிற எல்லாரும் சேர்ந்து இயற்கை விவசாயம் செஞ்சுட்டு இருக்கோம். இதற்கு உற்பத்தி செய்யக்கூடிய உயிர் உரத்தை வந்து நாங்கள் டைரக்டா வந்து இயற்கை விவசாயிகளுக்கு டைரக்டா போய் சேல் பண்ணலாம் அப்படின்னு ஒரு ஐடியாவில் இருக்கோம். இது மாதிரி நாங்கள் செய்யறது மூலமா எங்களுக்கும் ப்ராஃபிட், அவங்களுக்கும் ப்ராஃபிட். நாங்கள் வந்து சுற்றி இருக்கக்கூடிய அனைத்து கிராமத்துக்கும் சென்று அங்கே விழிப்புணர்வு ஏற்படுத்தலாம் இயற்கை விவசாயிகளுக்கு. அதுக்கப்புறம் விழிப்புணர்வு ஏற்படுத்திட்டு இந்த உரத்தை வந்து நாங்கள் சேல் பண்ணலான்னு இருக்கோம். விழிப்புணர்வு ப்ளஸ் பயிற்சியும் நாங்கள் கொடுக்கலான்னு ஒரு ஐடியாவில் இருக்கோம். இதுக்கு நாங்கள் உயிர் உரத்தை உற்பத்தி செய்யறதுக்கான லூமினார் சேம்பர், அதுக்கப்புறம் ஆட்டோக்ளேவ் மிஷின், அதுக்கப்புறம் இண்டக்ஷன், இந்த பொருள்லாம் இடுபொருள்லாம் வாங்குறதுக்கு எங்களுக்கு வந்து 1 லட்சம் தேவைப்படுது.
ஓகே, வணக்கம் வினீத். கேக்குதா? நீங்க அன்மியூட் பண்ணிக்கணும்னு நினைக்கிறேன்.
சார் இப்போ கேக்குதுங்களா?
இப்ப கேக்குது. ஓகே,
வணக்கம் சார்.
நல்ல முயற்சி. இயற்கை விவசாயம் தான் நம்ம எல்லாருக்குமே தேவைப்படுது இந்த காலத்துல. இப்ப இதுல வந்து நீங்க எனக்கு ஒண்ணு சரியா புரியல, நீங்க என்ன பண்ண விரும்புறீங்கன்னு. அந்த ப்ராடக்ட் பண்ணி விற்க விரும்புறீங்களா, இல்ல அந்த செயல்முறை என்னன்னு கத்துக் கொடுக்க விரும்புறீங்களா? உங்களோட ஐடியா என்ன இதுல?
சார் நம்ம செயல்முறையும் ஆல்ரெடி கத்துட்டே இருக்கிறோம் சார். கூடுதலா கத்துக்கொண்டு மற்ற நபர்களுக்கு வந்து இயற்கை விவசாயங்களுக்கு வந்து விற்பனை பண்ற பிளானிங் இருக்குங்க சார். ஏன்னா நான் வந்து எனக்கு தனிப்பட்ட முறையில் கமர்ஷியலா ஒரு வருவாய் வருங்க சார். இதனால நான் தொடர்ந்து இந்த ஃபீல்டில் இருக்க முடியுங்க சார்.
அப்ப ப்ராடக்ட் பண்ணி விற்கிறதும் ஒரு ஐடியாவா உங்களுக்கு? அப்ப அந்த
ஆமாங்க சார்.
ப்ரொடக்ஷனும் பண்றது ஒரு
நான்
ஐடியா.
வந்து ஸ்மால் ஸ்கேல்ல ப்ரொடக்ஷன் பண்ணா, ஆமாங்க சார், ஸ்மால் ஸ்கேல்ல பண்ணா நான் ப்ரொடக்ஷன் பண்ணி நான் ஓன் யூஸ் தான் பண்ண முடியும். அதிகமா ப்ரொடக்ஷன் பண்ணா மற்ற விவசாயிகளுக்கு வந்து உற்பத்தி பண்ணலாம். நான் மட்டும் மாறினா அந்த சமுதாயம் மாறாங்க சார். இந்த நாட்டில் இருக்கிற விவசாயிங்க மாற மாட்டாங்க. எல்லாரையும் மாற்றணும், எல்லாருக்கும் விழிப்புணர்வு ஏற்படுத்தணும் சார். ஃபர்ஸ்ட் நான் யூஸ் பண்றேன், அப்புறம் மற்றவங்களுக்கு ரெஃபர் பண்றேங்க சார். அதனால லோ காஸ்ட்ல நம்ம விற்பனை பண்ண போறோம். மற்றவங்களுக்கு நம்மளுக்கு உள்ள டிஃபரெண்ட் இதுதாங்க சார்.
லோ காஸ்ட்னு சொல்றீங்க, அது எப்படி உங்களால லோ காஸ்ட் கொடுக்க முடியுது?
சார் மற்றவங்க வந்து சீடு பேங்க் வச்சுங்கிற மற்ற டீமோட கம்பேர் பண்ணும்போது இது வந்து உயிர்கள் சார். இயற்கையோட உயிர்கள்னும் போது அதுக்கு உண்டான உணவு கொடுத்தா அது மல்டி ஆகிட்டே போகுங்க சார். இந்த ப்ராஜெக்ட் வந்து ரொம்ப எளிமைங்க சார். ஏன்னா அதுக்கு தேவையான வந்து உயிர்கள் வந்து இயற்கையாகவே பெருகி கொண்டே போகும். அதுக்கு உண்டான சூழ்நிலை இருந்தால் மட்டும் போதுங்க சார். அதனால என்னால் லோ காஸ்ட்ல கொடுக்க முடியும்.
Okay, thank you. So, should I translate in English? Okay. So the question I asked was, first was, I was not very clear with their pitch. Are they trying to are they asking funding for promoting the awareness to local farmers, or are they planning to make the product and give it to local farmers? So the answer was they are trying both, but they also want to do the product and give it to the local farmers, because just making it by themselves will only go to a certain reach. They want to expand the reach. So they will make the product and also create awareness along with that. The second question was, how are they able to, how can they make sure that it will be low cost? Because organic is very expensive. So their answer is they're developing, all these are living microorganisms. So it's not too expensive to make them, so they can provide it at a low cost. Okay, Biointex.
No, thank you, Ram and Vineet, for sharing an inspiring thought. Just an input can make such a difference. And we'll keep working with the advisors to sort of support more. Meenakshi ji is there supporting quite a lot. So just in general, if any one of you have expertise, any of the audience, reach out, write to us to be able to support the rest of the pioneers. And we have our last team remaining. That is also one of the youngest teams. And the pretty awesome part about that team that it started with one member and I think has reached 4 to 5. So very inspiring leader started the team. Let's hear from them.
Sorry, one second. Hello, everyone. We're the Earth Children, and we are here to tell you about the Prthvi game and the Eco Ladder, where we use games to educate children and adults about Earth-friendly living. But first, we must talk about the problems. In the world, not many people know good, sustainable practices. As I've noticed, each decision we make in our day-to-day lives have impacts on the environment. For example, when I go to school, if I forget to take my reusable water bottle, I could buy a plastic bottle of water, which is really good for my health since I can drink water, but it's bad for the environment. And if I decide to throw it away, it takes around 450 years to decompose like other plastics. So yeah, like that's a long time, 450 years. Also, for example, if I were taking a shower and like brushing my teeth and all that stuff that uses water, did you know that in an average household, there is 10,000 gallons wasted per year? 10,000 gallons. And that's a lot of water. And that's not just the water we use every day. That's the water we don't use. That's the water we waste. For example, if you're taking a shower, maybe if you step in the shower to wait for it to warm up or something, that's wasting water. And the water we use makes it even more. So that shows that all the decisions we make in our day-to-day lives have impacts on the environment. And we have to take up the responsibility to make decisions based on what is best for us and the environment. And in order to make those decisions, we all need to be educated on the best practices about living sustainably. We have ideas that can fix this. So yeah, we have actually 2 ideas that can fix this. We have the Prthvi game and the Eco Ladder. So yeah, as it says here, Prthvi game and the Eco Ladder. So the Prthvi game is a choose your own adventure video game, which will help teach people about sustainable practices like bringing your own water bottle and composting. As you can see here, it has like a little scene and then it has a bunch of different buttons and some words and all that stuff. It is designed in such a way that you can play it over and over and over again and choose different paths and get different results and all of that cool stuff. Then we have the Eco Ladder. The Eco Ladder is a fun and interactive board game designed to teach the fundamentals of sustainability and minimalism to kids and families. This game is designed in such a way that the entire family can play and spend quality time together while learning about important topics. These 2 solutions work because almost 2.3 billion people in the world play video games. Now over to Varun for some other statistics. Yeah, so the main reason like we chose to make a game is because a lot of kids and people love to play video games. So as you can see here, it says 80% people play video games. They wanna like it has the potential to kind of interest them. So that's why we chose to make a game, because if we had just done something else, it might have not like completely interested them. But video games will make it more fun, and it'll make them want to actually, interact and learn about how to make the world a better place. Yeah, and as it says, video games have potentials to reach 1 in 3 people. And having a fun and learning experience while playing a board game with your family is really a nice time. It's really a nice thing to have. So yeah, it's just all that cool stuff. So thank you for listening. Thank you. Yeah.
Right on, Varun, Nandan, and I think I saw Advait and Siddhant's name as part of your team.
Yeah,
also.
Advait and Siddhant couldn't make it today.
Sure.
They had a thing to do.
Very good. I grew up playing video games, and now with 2 children of my own, I'm very cautious about how much screen time they are engaged in. So now you're trying to facilitate environmentalism through a screen. So how are you going to navigate this? How are you going to sell this idea to parents, whether they're parents of high schoolers or parents of toddlers like myself, that this screen will help these kids and help the environment too? What will be your emotional capture there?
I actually have something to say. So with this, in the next like 1 year, with the game, we will actually be releasing like more promotional videos that will kind of show that it's not like it's really something that you can let like a kid, like a smaller kid play. And there's 2 different ones. There's the eco letter, and then there's the Prthvi game. For smaller kids, like for example, Vikji, you have the eco letter would probably be better because you could all play as a family. But for example, if you have a little bit of older kids, the Prithvi game would be good because it's easier to play as just like one person, or as just someone with like older kids. And so really what we're also gonna do is we're also gonna this is also tied to kind of how we're gonna make it so that other people like kind of know about this. Other people like they can understand that it's really easy to play and stuff. We will actually be providing updates to the game based on kind of sustainability situations around the world, and kind of releasing more information on that as well in this promotional video forms. And so I'll still up here, yeah, to people.
Clear. All of your ideas, including this team, are awesome. But if I'm harder on you, then we'll get better ratings, like how reality TVs and those kinds of shows are. I think there's so much power in video games in terms of getting people to think about something nobler like environmentalism. Same goes with board games too. We appreciate your efforts, Earth Children. We are coming to the completion of our workshop of our Pioneers for the Planet Challenge pitch. We had a soft pitch, now this is our hard pitch. And so a few completing thoughts, just a few more minutes. I know for many on the East Coast, it's late and so on. In America right now, people are completing Thanksgiving week, Thanksgiving weekend. And the vision behind our Prthvi Sevasanga is to create a new tradition where it's not about buying, but rather it's about serving. Serving through organic farming or serving through a board game. And what a great presentation today to initiate this new tradition. And maybe we can call it Giving Thanksgiving. Giving thanks, and then thanks through giving. I feel that what we've done today, I've asked many questions about scalability for the teams that I'm advising on. I feel what we've done today can be scaled to all organizations. Every organization should facilitate a Pioneers for the Planet Challenge, whether it's a spiritual organization or it's a high school. This is how we can really mass share such noble ideas. In terms of our specific pioneers for the challenge, next step, I start by deeply appreciating all of our teams, that most of you are younger than me. That's me being polite to myself. I know you're all younger than me. And still so much passion and professionalism. We all wish you the best, and we're all going to work hard and smart to try to support you in as many ways as we can, and opportunities to do so are being shared in the chat. Our next Prthvi Sevasanga workshop will be on Sunday, December 24th. In America, that's Christmas Eve. So we're really working around buying periods to have these workshops. In this upcoming workshop, we will announce which teams are going to be funded by our community. Our advisors will work together and we will come up with a system to decide which teams will be funded. I'm sharing again and again and again, we wish you the best. Some of our teams will be funded by this community. If there's anyone in this community that would like to offer their time or their resources to help these teams, please write to us. We'd like for this to be a collective effort. Next, I offer my appreciation to our Prthvi Sevasanga team that is primarily made up of Anvita and Zui and Kanchan and Praveen and Rita. They're located all over North America, and they've worked hard and smart to bring together our teams, to bring together our community, and specifically they've brought together our advisors. My appreciation to Shikaji and to Ramji and to Meenakshi for your presence to make our Pioneers for the Planet Challenge meaningful and successful. Also to Senthoji, we wish him the best with his health. I feel that's all from my side. And if there's anyone in the community that really wants to share how they're feeling right now, their ideas, their support, you can write that in the chat. And how cool is it that we had teams from around the world and we had interpreters from around the world too. What a great lesson just in diversity. So I'm doing a final check-in with our Prthvi Sevasanga team, hoping that I've covered all that I need to cover. And assuming that I have, I will complete our challenge for tonight, our workshop for this month, with Shanti. 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 Be joy. Have a joyous month. We'll be together again on Sunday, December 24th, when we announce that everyone is a winner, but specific winners who will be funded by our community, so more environmentalism can happen.
Namaste, everyone. So the formal part of this meeting is over, but I know there are several questions in the chat. For any of you who want to, you don't have to, but if you want to stay back for another 10 minutes, feel free to. I'm requesting all the Pioneer teams to stay back because there might be questions for you that we're going to read out from the chat. And for anybody else who asks the questions or want to listen to the answers, feel free to stay back for another 10 minutes.
So I'm going to just skim through the questions, and Praveen and I would take turns to try to go through them. One question that we have received from Sean, I'm not sure if he's there, but what are some ways we can support what their Sandhai team? So you kind of heard from their pitch what they're requesting also, but just do write to us and then we can connect and make that support more possible. Praveen, would you like to add anything to that question? Yeah. Okay. Lots of different comments. Another question that we have, oh no, some of them are translations. So I'm still getting to the next question. Oh.
And I'm reading a comment from Meenakshi saying that for the soaper team, saying we can help you make your own bathing soap and shampoo too. We at Two With Them have been doing it for the last 20 years. So awesome. There you have more support. Like Shigaji mentioned, this is the starting of your journey. So there's more products coming. Great.
And it was actually amazing. Chinmay Mission Niagara's retreat, they allowed us to we were allowed to sort of share the samples of the detergent soap. And there were multiple people who as if came to the table and said, oh, when are you going to make the shampoo? So Meenakshi ji, thank you for a great resource. They answered the question. They answered very well the question related to seed banks. And if we need support in terms of connecting with the right organizations, we could help do that too. So the pioneers could gain in terms of, I guess the name that was mentioned was Vandana, the seed bank side of things. So those questions were answered.
I know there's a couple of questions for the Aquanauts team. I think one question is, have you done a pilot for the project? Another one is, who will be the customer? So Aquanauts team, if you want to quickly answer those two.
Yeah, so for like the pilot, that was something we were kind of answering before, but we haven't had like the resources to be able to test our idea specifically. We've done like a very small scale experiment of it just to show how like producing drag on a river can help kind of let the sediment go back down and kind of stop that process of river erosion. But just because of the design and like how original our idea is, we haven't really had the chance to be able to create like a full scale or even kind of like pilot model of this, but we were hoping like with the funds we'll be able to kind of start that.
Yeah, and then on top of that, for the next question, asking about our customers, like we mentioned, our main customers that we want to target at first are the private homeowners who are like struggling with either these type of eroding streams in their backyard, their lawns, or any other type of property. But then once we're able to get the funding to kind of upscale this project and make more prototypes and test it out a bit more, we'd like to use it in our community more in some of the bigger rivers or streams that we have, which are affecting like multiple groups of people.
Thank you, team.
So the next question that I'm seeing in the chat is for Cheers to Choice team. And the same question from two people is, how would you rank reusable cloth pads over menstrual cups?
Yeah, so I was just typing the answer in the comment section as well. But so the thing is, reusable pads needs to be washed and dried properly, which sometimes in rural areas specifically becomes a little slightly more, difficult, provided that not always they get clean water, or not always they get there are a lot of taboos around menstruation, so they don't want to dry their clothes properly in the sun, so they hide it in somewhere in the room and then they dry it, which is not always very hygienic. So in terms, when we consider all these things, and this increases the possibility of UTIs like urinary tract infection or reproductive tract infection. So to avoid all these things, menstrual cup is much healthier choice. It's also, someone has also used, what about the biodegradable pads? So these are slightly more expensive, whereas the pack of a biodegradable pad costs around 400 to 500. And which just goes on for 1 or 2 months. But the menstrual cup, you can use it for 4 to 5 years in the same, like for 400 to 500 rupees. So that's why it's a much healthier choice and also more pocket friendly than the others.
Thank you for sharing. That's actually a simultaneous question comment to consider is if these cups are produced locally, then we reduce other carbon footprint also, or the issues with large manufacturers such. And the concern with cloth pad typically is like a lot of mobility is reduced for females. So they won't be riding a bicycle or won't be doing hard stuff. So its mobility is reduced quite a lot. So thank you for reaching to that question. Praveen, passing on for the next question to you.
Yeah, I think next is a comment. I think it was for the bio inputs team. I see their mentor Meenakshi ji putting a comment which is very related to what we talked about with the idea of having this replicable business in every village panchayat. So that rather than making this in bulk and distributing it everywhere, trying to reduce the environmental footprint and to make every village self-sufficient by replicating it in every village panchayat, I think looks like an awesome thought process that probably many of our pioneer teams can probably apply the same model. So just wanted to call that out.
I am not seeing any other questions specifically from the audience yet, and really appreciate the audience listening to them and putting encouraging comments and thoughts in the chat. Definitely write to us via email if you would like to support with your expertise in any way. Praveen, any parting thoughts as we close?
No, I think like Zoe shared, I think you can also ask any extra questions that you might have, right? Because in the next 1 month, we will be working like we have been. We'll be working, continuing to work with these pioneers to make sure that all of our inputs are being taken into account, right? So that by the time we come for the next workshop, we will have a fully evaluated set of ideas that we can then decide to support and move forward. So with that, I think, Zoe, is there anything else, or shall we close?
Yes, there's a meaningful comment by Meenakshi ji about the menstrual cups. Definitely look at, and Sakshi, that's something that you could explore as your team. That's it. So let's end with Shanti. Everyone. Yeah. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Thank you, everyone, all the teams, advisors, mentors. Thank you so much.